So I'm creating this video. I've actually tried to film this many different times over the past 2 weeks, and it's felt really, really challenging because I feel like a lot of this is still being integrated and I'm still most certainly in process, which means that I don't have a mature or a ripe lens on these experiences and how I'm moving through things like self-abandonment and coming home to myself. But I do feel like it is also really important to share what it is like to be in process and to give a little bit of context into how I am in the process of moving from a lifetime of self-abandonment to finally coming back to myself and listening to my true self and to my gut and to my heart as well, like developing relationships with these parts of me and allowing them to guide me in life. But there are still things that are in the works that are still being moved and being shifted and that are still evolving, and I am also quite sure that I will be learning for the rest of my life and journeying through this the rest of my life, because some of these wounds have been very, very deep, and I'll share a little bit about that. For context, I left home when I was 16. Times were really rough. My family was really going through it, to say the least, and my ways of coping were disastrous. I had gotten into car accidents and landed in the hospital many times and was just very scared, confused, and lost. And somehow I've been very blessed and privileged and resourced to move away and had my parents' support. I actually lived in Germany for many years before traveling around a bit more. I feel really, really lucky for this. I've lived in many countries and have come across such loving, supportive spaces and people, and of course was coping for many of those years. A lot of my trauma and the things that I had been through when I was young were certainly repressed and shut down. I just want to give this context to kind of set the stage of my journey, why I've been so lost and why self-abandonment has been at the core of a lot of my late teen and adult experiences, and why at age 25 do I finally feel like I can listen to myself. If you relate, I see you, I feel you with my whole heart, and I really want to share what has supported me in listening deeper to myself and trusting that I can hold this. I had an experience a few months ago in a very powerful therapy session. God bless my therapist, she's amazing. Where I awakened for the first time in my entire life to the fact that I have been abandoning myself for so long in small and in big ways, from repressing my thoughts, my feelings, and my opinions to make the people around me more comfortable, to following life paths and relationships and being a part of environments that were actually not very conducive or even authentic to me. But now I have this awareness and I have this knowledge, which I'm super, super grateful for. And I really want to share how I'm navigating through and what it really means to come home to myself. What I am learning is that we need experiences where we are judged, where we are misunderstood, where we are not perceived in the best light, in order to have the capacity and the resiliency to hold all of that and to know that that is a truth and that's okay. That's not going to hurt me. I am still whole and I am still enough, although that may be true. And also to not avoid these experiences. And that's what I've personally done my whole life, is I've tried to avoid experiences where I could potentially be misunderstood. And that has kept my life so small and so restrained, and has unfortunately really left me to be quite scared and fearful of the world around me. What I'm learning is that I can be free in the truest depth of myself, and that is enough. I don't need to prove the world anything. I just need to fully love myself for who I am right now. I'm on a journey of homecoming, of coming home to my heart, of practicing in every moment, in every conversation, in every experience, really trying to remember to kind of reel the energy in, notice, okay, what am I feeling? What do I need right now? How can I drop into my center and make decisions and speak from that place instead of scanning the world around me, drawing in that information and then making decisions? I'm really practicing to draw in to my center, to my core, feel what's there. Am I trying to hide something? Am I trying to not show something? Am I trying to repress? Which has been the default over the years. Repress what's going on here, stay here. What do I need to do? What do I need to say? There's been a disconnect. So the most powerful practice that has supported me in healing my relationship to self-abandonment is healing and being seen in community. And that means actively seeking out spaces, places, environments, and people who are able and have the capacity to hold all of you, where none of you needs to be repressed. You don't need to hide anything. You can be fully witnessed in all of your darkness and in all of your light. The thing is that a lot of our deep wounds, such as self-abandonment, happen in relationship. So it is crucial that we are healing these wounds in relationship, that we are not just doing this work on our own in our journals at home, which is also a big part of this experience and very crucial. But we need to be healing in group. We need to be healing with others in relationship. It is the most important thing. And that's what we forget about these days, is we think that we need to do this work on our own and that it is very private and sacred, which it is. But we also need to seek out spaces where we can be seen, where we can be witnessed in our fullness, because we've spent most of the duration of our lives hiding these tender, vulnerable, scared parts. And all these parts want is to be felt, is to be seen, is to be acknowledged, is to be held. And so if we can do that with others, it's like healing times 100. It's healing times 1,000,000. The body is so wise, it will release what it needs to release when it has permission, when it feels safe to do so. So if you can find some sort of safe group space to do this healing work, then I would highly recommend it. Besides being seen and witnessed and held in community, because I know that's not always accessible for everyone, here are some other practices and ways in which I am working with self-abandonment and homecoming. The first one is to be close to oneself and to start to develop a refined, calibrated alliance with self. Being close to oneself means different things for everyone, and there are endless ways to be close to oneself and to connect internally. But when it comes to working with this self-abandonment, being close to myself means that I am present with myself and I take the time and space to listen inwards and to notice what is there for me. If you've been disconnected from yourself for a while, it may take some active awareness and practice to remember to connect inwards. So what does this look like? How can we actually pragmatically and practically practice this? The main way in which I have done this is usually in the evenings, in private. I make space to meditate and to tell myself that everything is allowed here. What needs to be felt? What needs to be acknowledged? What needs to be loved? And this usually leads into my body guiding me somatically. Maybe I need to caress my body gently. Maybe I need to caress my scalp. Maybe I feel called to put some music on and to dance, to cry, to shake, to hum, to vocalize. Maybe it means to just sit and to cry and to allow release. So now that I've started to become closer to myself and to practice this regularly, the next practice is the detox. So what does and doesn't belong anymore? Now that I've practiced inquiring within and really noticing and observing all of the stories and the narratives, the belief systems, the limiting beliefs, the ideologies, the attachments, all of these things that maybe have gotten blocked over the years, or they've accumulated over the years. What does not belong anymore, and how can I learn to let go, to surrender all of these parts of myself that need to die and need to be surrendered for my highest good. And then with that is, of course, bringing in the new. What are the new stories that I am moving forward with in my life? What are the new belief systems, the kinds of environments, the spaces, the people, the ways in which that I talk to myself, the ways that I take care of myself, the ways in which I show up for myself and come home to myself? What are all of these very important, beautiful things, and how can I incorporate those regularly? So inquiring within and journaling about this, reflecting on it, meditating on it, going into nature, spending some solid time with you, maybe with some close friends who want to do this similar practice. What needs to be let go of and what needs to be brought in? And the last practice, and I suppose maybe the last stage of these practices, is, of course, aligned action. So based on all of this, this new narrative, this new foundation that I've created within myself, what do I need to do now? What do I need to say now? How do I need to express myself, or to create, or to really align with this more authentic and true nature? Maybe just being in this is enough, is already healing itself. Maybe there's something that I'm now hearing that is now trying to be listened to by me. Maybe there is a life force that's trying to run through me now. So what do I need to do? How do I move from this place? And with that, that's the end of this video. And thank you so much for watching until the end and for being here. I hope that all of these ideas and concepts made sense. This is my first video, and it's been an interesting journey to kind of tell a story through this somehow. Wishing you the best and sending so much love.